Fallout New Vegas was released on October 19th, 2010. It was developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Bethesda Softworks for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. New Vegas' development cycle was 18 months, which is impressively short compared to Fallout 3's 6-year dev time and Fallout 4's 7 years in the oven. At the time, Obsidian consisted of several people who worked on the classic Fallout games. Josh Sawyer, who worked on Project Van Buren, the cancelled Fallout 3 in development at Black Isle Studios, Chris Avalon, who worked on Fallout 2, and Fergus Urquhart, CEO of Obsidian, who did extensive work on the first 2 Fallout games. We start our adventure in Fallout New Vegas in the town of Goodsprings. It's here that we can meet some interesting people and really take in the vibe of the Mojave. In the real world, Goodsprings has started hosting a Fallout New Vegas celebration. Old Man Liver, the owner of the Pioneer Saloon, known as the Prospector Saloon in New Vegas, noticed that Fallout fans would always show up to the town and visit the general store as well as the saloon. This prompted him to organize an event that would last a day or two that all Fallout fans could come down to celebrate what an amazing game Fallout New Vegas is. This has become an annual event that usually takes place in the second week of November. I have gone to every Fallout New Vegas Day celebration, and the vibes in the Mojave are unmatched. The town's layout is similar to what we see in the game, but the devs moved a couple of things around, likely due to game design choices. Still, Goodsprings is a wonderful town, and if you are a fan of New Vegas, it is definitely worth the trip. When venturing through the Mojave, the 188 Trading Post is a crucial spot. Located right outside of Vegas, it's one of the last stops we can make before hitting Freeside. Under the bridge, we can meet a gunrunner, Alexander, who is usually pretty standoffish. However, if the courier has a gun skill of at least 40, the arms dealer will open his shop for them.
Is there some reason I should be talking to you? Like you have a clue what that even means. Am I selling? Yeah. Am I selling to you? No. Sorry to hurt your feelings, but you're small time. Move along. You might be onto something. I'd like to hang on to any weapons mods I run across. Take a look.
While traveling through Freeside on the outskirts of Vegas proper, you can find the Old Mormon Fort. The followers of the apocalypse have taken up shop here, and they help the locals the best they can with the supplies that they have. One follower we can meet is Arcade Gannon, a quirky scientist with a dry sense of humor, but the courier can play into his compassionate side a bit if they lack the smarts to survive in the wastes alone. With an intelligence stat of 2 or lower, Arcade will have sympathy for the courier and join them in their adventures.
No offense intended, but why should I go anywhere with you? Wow. You sound like you really do need some help. Look, I can help you out, but you can't do anything I mean, you can't help bad people who want to hurt the locals in Freeside. If you do, I'll leave. Does that make sense? All right, let's not waste any time. There are people out there to help, things to learn. Maybe not in that order, but let's get to it.
Eventually, during your adventure through the Mojave, you will either get sent to Vault 22 or stumble upon it. This vault is flush with greenery rarely seen in the wasteland, which is always a red flag. The NCR wants to get their hands on some data from here to see why everything is growing so effortlessly. In fact, there's already a scientist named Keely on the scene, and after she has you do some of the busy work, if you have copied this data to your Pip-Boy, she will confront you about it. With a science skill of at least 70, the courier can convince Keely to not delete the data, so it can act as a blueprint for what not to do in the future.
Ah, good. You survived. I was beginning to think you hadn't. You'll be pleased to know that the spore should no longer be a problem. Now all that's left is to ensure that none of this ever happens again. The research that led to these abominations must be erased. I've managed to create a connection to the Vault's backup system from here. I just have to remotely delete all the files, and we're done here. No, it shouldn't take all that long. Just a few more moments, and that's strange. The system says that the files were accessed recently and copied to an external source. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? Yes, that sounds like something he'd do. Well, there's nothing for it then. Those files need to be erased. Hold out your arm and I'll have it done in a flash. How do you figure that? I suppose the data here could serve as a warning to other scientists. Tell them what paths of research not to follow. All right. You convinced me. Take the files back to that buffoon. You make a good point. But I still honestly hope you know what you're doing. I've unlocked the door, so you're free to run along now. Although it pains me to say it, I wouldn't have made it out of here without your help. If you're heading back toward McCarran, tell Dr. Williams that she has my thanks as well.
When making your way into the strip, if you stop at the north gate, you will hear distorted audio radiating the area. Upon closer look, we can see that there are two small sets of speakers making this noise on each side of the gate. I always thought it was the Securitrons grinding and whirring. When approaching Helios One, the courier will be stopped by Lieutenant Haggerty of the NCR. She will let us know it is a restricted area, but if we have a speech skill of at least 30, then the courier can lie to the NCR officer.
This is a restricted area. State your business. Your being here is a start, soldier. We aren't exactly overflowing with troopers here. But if you really want to help us, talk to the idiot with sunglasses in the back of the plant building. He's been trying to get this place running for months and hasn't made any forward progress.
The Strip is the prime destination for the courier in Fallout New Vegas. However, when we arrive, we are greeted by Securitrons who want to make sure that we have the caps to spend in the big city. If the courier happens to have at least an 80 science skill, then they will be able to hack the Securitron by using the phrase 1C, 3C, R34, M. When viewed written out, this passcode says ice cream in leet speak, a way of spelling words with numbers that gained popularity online in the mid to late 80s.
Submit to a credit check, or present your passport before proceeding to the gate. Trespassers will be shot. Thank you, sir. You may proceed.
While looking for a new brain for Rex, we can find Lupa, Antony's dog, at the fort. She's the mother to many of the dogs that we can find around the Legion stronghold, and she's a well-experienced fighter. Something we can do to double up on a unique item here is kill Lupa while hidden. If done successfully, Antony won't notice and will still give us the option to fight her in the arena. When you win this battle, you will now have 2 of Lupa's brains. This will, however, break this part of the quest a bit, as Dr. Henry will not recognize that you have Lupa's brain at all with 2 of them in your inventory. So while there's no need for 2 carbon copies of the same dog brain to be hanging out in your inventory, it's still an interesting bug that can occur on PC. On our way through Novac, we can meet one of the most interesting characters in Fallout New Vegas, typically found wandering around the back of the motel staring through windows, no bark is undoubtedly a memorable experience. If we approach him with at least a 6 in our strength stat, then we will have the option to intimidate the Wasteland veteran into telling us what he knows about the town of Novak.
Who sent you? I ain't talking. They tried to get me to talk before, but I didn't say nothing. And I don't aim to now, by gum. I give up. Please don't do no harm to me, mister. Leastways not my face. All I got left is my rugged good looks. What do you want to know? 'Cause they know I ain't just barking here. What I say has got bite, 'cause it's the truth. Them quack doctors can say what they want about all the rat scorpion stings that done pierced my skull, and I know what I seen.
When heading towards Nelson, we can encounter Ranger Milo in the middle of the road. He will accost the courier and explain that some Legion snakes have set up shop in the small town. If you have an intelligence stat of 3 or less, the courier will have unique dialogue, thinking the ranger is talking about actual snakes on the loose.
Hold up there. This area is locked down by the NCR military until we can dislodge some Legion snakes from Nelson. You're one of them special folks, ain't you? They ain't real snakes, see? They're Legion soldiers. I just called them snakes because they're low down and sneaky. Like a snake. Anyway, we always have trouble with Legion around here. This time, they jumped the camp in Nelson while the troopers were setting up. Captured a bunch of gear and took the town. Couple of troopers, too. Got them crucified down near the center of town.
Rex may be the goodest boy in the Mojave. The Cyberdog is certainly one of my favorite companions, and he is a loyal friend to one of the best characters in Fallout New Vegas, the King. While many people have adventured the Mojave with this wonder pup, few may know how long Rex has really been around. In a blog post from PlayStation that was posted back in September of 2010, we get some insight into what age Rex really is. The blog post reads, full name, Cyberhound Mark III, LEO support model, serial number B955883. Sex, not available. Age, 209. Ethnicity, not available. Profession, sidekick to the king. Perk, search and mark, while Rex is a companion, unequipped chems, firearms, and ammunition within a short distance are highlighted when you zoom in the camera. Description, Rex is a cybernetic dog that has been around since pre-war times. He was used by the Denver Police Department and Caesar's Legion before being mostly blown up during the Battle of Hoover Dam. Since then, he's been a loyal pet to the King of the Kings in Freeside. Capable of sniffing out loot and taking large amounts of punishment, he only has one big problem. His brain is starting to deteriorate. This post confirms that Rex is 209 years old and was used by Denver PD and the Legion before being wrecked at the first Battle of Hoover Dam. It also doesn't confirm the sex of Rex, leaving it open to interpretation. It's no surprise that Rex has such an immense backstory. It's just a shame that we don't get to see more callbacks to it in New Vegas itself. When visiting the Strip in Fallout New Vegas, one attraction we can see is Vault 21. Mr. House nearly destroyed this establishment when he filled most of it with concrete, yet one woman refused to leave and fought to live in the only home she had had. Sarah Weintraub is the host of Vault 21's Vault Tours and is one of the only permanent residents of the Vault, having lived there since her childhood. These are all wonderful reasons to hang around the Vault, but we can learn a bit more about her mental state through conversation. If the courier has at least an 8 in their perception stat, we can find out that Sarah is suffering from agoraphobia, which stems from not wanting to leave her home under most any circumstance.
Hi, I'm Sarah Weintraub. Welcome to the finest vault hotel in the whole world. Sure I have. I made the scene in the Strip. It's just that I really like it here. Vault 21 is a kick. Okay, you're right. I hate going outside. It's almost impossible for me to step out of here. Still, I love my vault. It's my pad.
An often overlooked area in Fallout New Vegas is the Fort. This is the camp that houses the bulk of Caesar's Legion, as well as the man himself. Taking the time to chat with the few people we can in the area, we can run into Siri, a Legion slave who makes healing powder for the faction, and with a survival skill of 20 or higher, the courier can teach her how to make the first aid item more efficiently.
If you're injured, I might have healing powder to spare. What about it? Do you have some advice? Oh, I've been using 2 roots for flour. Thanks to you, I'll be able to create twice as much healing powder per day.
Throughout the Strip in Fallout New Vegas, we can find various letters detailing personal experiences people have had in Sin City. There are 11 of these letters in total, and they are scattered out around Vegas for the courier to find and read. The first of these letters can be found in a guest room in Vault 21. It reads, "Dear Edna, lost all of our money at the casinos. Send more ASAP. We'll get it all back. Trust me, Lenny." Strip letter 2 can be found in another guest room here in Vault 21, and it reads as follows. "Billy, don't be mad, but I lost all of our savings at the tops last night. It's not my fault. I was on a hot streak and was up 2,000 caps. But then I had a run of bad luck and lost it all. I'm going to see if I can scrounge up a few caps and try to get it all back. Please don't hate me. Sue." And the last letter that we can find in Vault 21, Strip letter 3, says this. "Hey Mom, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that I didn't lose all my money on the silly gambling games as you call them. The bad news is that I lost all of my money on one of the girls at Gamora. You would have liked her though. She was a real classy lady. Well, since there's nothing left for me here and I'm all out of caps, I'll be heading home soon. Love you, Dennis." Strip letter 4 can be found at Las Vegas Boulevard Station, next to a Mojave Dropbox. "Nicole, all my years of hard work have finally paid off. I hit the jackpot last night over at the tops. I'll have to use a lot of the money to pay off some of the debts I've incurred over the years, but there is plenty left over to live well for the rest of our lives. I told you it would happen. See you soon, Ralph." Right next to this letter is number 5, and it reads, "Bruce, I think it's time we see other people. We're just not a good fit anymore. Plus, I met this amazing and rich guy at the Ultralux last night. He's a real winner, not a dirty farmhand like yourself. I never want to see you again. Lacey." Letter number 6 is lying in a room on the 13th floor of the tops. "Dear Tracy, things have been going well for me here in Vegas. I've had pretty decent luck at the tables lately and have been able to almost break even. I'm going to hit the roulette tables again tomorrow. I'm going to win big this time, real big. I can feel it. Wish me luck, Mark." Strip letter 7 is found on the corpse of a gambler and some rubble next to the Monte Carlo suites. "Those gangsters at the tops cheated me. I know it. They're cheats and liars and thieves. Their games are rigged. I've lost every cap, every NCR bill I had left. Those slot machines, you can never win. They're programmed just to make you lose, lose, lose. Their cards are marked so their dealers can cheat you. I promise you this. Invisible ink or something. And their roulette tables? Please, what a joke. The ball must be magnetic, and they can tell it to land wherever they want. The people that do win are plants, employees. There's no way I could have lost like that unless they were cheating. No way. No way. Those fancy suits can't buy them class. They're a bunch of damn con men. They've taken everything from me. I have nothing left. Nothing. What am I going to do? I was supposed to win big here. This is where dreams happen. People told me I could make a fortune here. I just had to have the caps, and I could win myself a new future. Now it's all gone. All gone." Back inside Las Vegas Boulevard Station on a desk is where we can find strip letter 8. "Dear Bravo Company, being transferred to the NCR embassy on the Strip has been the greatest thing that has happened to me since joining the NCR. It's a pretty easy gig watching the troopers during the day and making sure they don't get in trouble. And then we get to spend our free time hanging out at the bars and clubs, getting drunk and partying. Wish you were here, Private Seamer." The 9th letter will bring us to the mess hall in the NCR embassy, where it can be found on a table. "To Private Humphreys, this has been the best 3-day pass yet. I learned my lesson early and ditched the casinos for the girls at Gamora. Now that is money well spent. You can't get that kind of service at Camp Golf. Going to sleep now while it's daylight and head back out to Gamora tonight for one last hurrah. Private walk-ins. Strip letter 10 can be found inside the NCR Military Police HQ. To Private Jackson, this is the last time I take your advice. I went to the bar at Gomorrah, like you said. I got pissed drunk, kicked out after getting too friendly with the dancers, fell into the gutter and puked all over myself before being picked up by some MPs. Next thing I know, I'm waking up at the drunk tank 2 days later. Thanks for wasting my pass, jerk. Private Daniels. And the 11th and final letter can be found on a table in the NCR Embassy's barracks. To Private Irwin, if I hear of you pulling another prank on one of my troopers that causes them to return to duty without their clothing fully intact, I will personally make sure that you get transferred to Camp Forlorn Hope and don't come back. I'll be watching you, Lieutenant Asheville. These letters offer some small bits of lore that really help drive the vibe of New Vegas as a city home. Fallout New Vegas is filled with these types of lore dumps, and it makes the game world so much more immersive. When leaving the Lucky 38 for the first time, a crowd will gather around on the strip and start to gossip about it. You would be the first person to enter the casino in centuries.
I gotta see that.
Wow, that's crazy.
I thought nobody has ever been inside
Hello.
that place.
That one must be important around here.
Check that out, he just left the Lucky 38.
Damn, and he looks good to me too.
One of the worst places to end up in the Mojave is Quarry Junction. The area is hot and dry due to the dust storms that frequent the valley, and even worse is the family of Deathclaw that calls this place home. A fully established pack lives amongst the machinery here in the quarry, with a mother and an alpha male guarding the group with their lives. Just past that is a group of cons who have been put between a rock and a hard place, quite literally. Melissa here will give you a quest to receive a delivery that doesn't seem like it's going to be arriving anytime soon, and we are sent to talk to Chomps and Sloan. Old Man Lewis will send us up to Prim to chat with a trooper named Tyrone, who is getting cold feet since the officers of the NCR are starting to get suspicious of the missing items. With a strength stat of 7 or higher, we can convince Tyrone to honor his deal.
Hey, what can Tyrone do for you? You trying to get me busted? Keep your damn voice down. Lieutenant Hayes already has his eye on me. Look, I already told Chomps the NCR is getting suspicious of all these misplaced supplies. Bigger risk means bigger cost. 300 caps bigger. Never mind. Take the supplies. All yours, friend.
On our way through the Mojave, we can stumble upon Wolfhorn Ranch. This quaint little farmhouse outside Novak has a storied past for those who look a bit closer. Outside the farmhouse, various crops grow, and antennae protrude from sporadic places around the property. Wolfhorn Ranch is quite the place to settle down, but digging under the surface explains why it's in such good shape. This is the former camp of Ulysses, whom we meet in the Lonesome Road DLC, but it seems plans were a bit different for our duster-clad friend. Ulysses was initially planned to be a Legion-friendly companion, much like Boone is for the NCR. This was going to be his residence, and a reference to this was left in the base game. On top of the vista behind the farmhouse, we can find an unmarked grave that is supposed to reflect Ulysses' removal from the game as a base companion. We can even loot this gravesite without a shovel. This being the home of Ulysses is confirmed in the Fallout New Vegas official game guide, as well as the Italian, Spanish, French, and German versions of the game, which name the location Ulysses Camp in their respective languages. Inside the farmhouse, we can find a bed and some containers that do not respond their contents, meaning that this location can be used as a viable player house. However, the bed here does not give the player the well-rested perk. We can find a Tumblr's Today skill magazine on the floor and a unique cleaver on top of the stove called Chopper. The melee weapon offers more damage with higher critical percentages as well. Chopper is excellent for attacking limbs as it has a boost to damage against appendages. Wolfhorn Ranch seems like just another farmhouse on the side of a forgotten highway out in the Mojave, but it proves that if you look a little closer, you can find some of the most interesting stories in the mundane. Zion Canyon is a tremendous addition to New Vegas. The location features beautiful vistas and pure streams that run in every direction. It's almost as if Zion was completely unchanged by the Great War. Due to this, we can see something else in this veritable Garden of Eden, something that had surprisingly not been seen until the canyon in Fallout New Vegas. Rain will fall from the sky in Zion. This is the first time in the Fallout series that we see rain, and it makes sense that it would be in such a beautiful and untouched place. Of course, Paradise isn't without its troubles, as warring tribes and mutated creatures cover the landscape. Still, Zion persists, hoping to wash away it all with each rainstorm.